Rain lashed against the Gothic windows of Blackwood Manor. Thunder rattled the old house, mimicking the fear gripping its inhabitants. Blackwood Manor, perched high on a windswept cliff, was tonight a stage set for a tragedy. The mansion, with its gargoyles leering down and ivy clinging like grasping hands, seemed to anticipate the horror within. Inside, shadows danced in the flickering gaslight. An air of unease hung heavy, thicker than the scent of lilies from the drawing room. It was the kind of night where secrets whispered on the wind, and every creaking floorboard hinted at unseen terrors. The storm outside was but a pale reflection of the tempest brewing within the hearts of those gathered in the manor. Lord Blackwood, a man whose steel-grey eyes mirrored the harshness of his nature, sat rigidly by the fireplace. His presence was as imposing as the ancient stone walls that surrounded them, a fortress of secrets and unspoken words. His gaze, cold and calculating, swept over his family, each member a pawn in his grand design. He saw not just his kin, but pieces on a chessboard, each move meticulously planned. Lady Blackwood, her beauty as fragile as a fading rose, nervously twisted her wedding ring. Her delicate fingers betrayed the anxiety that her composed face tried to hide. She was a woman caught in a web of duty and fear. Their faces, etched with worry and suspicion, were illuminated by the firelight. Shadows danced across their features, highlighting the cracks in their facade of unity. Among them sat the younger generation, Reginald, the ambitious heir, his face a mask of feigned concern. His eyes, however, betrayed a hunger for power, a desire to step out of his father's shadow. Cecilia, the beautiful but troubled daughter, her eyes red-rimmed from tears, sat quietly. Her sorrow was a silent scream, a cry for help that went unheard in the cacophony of family politics. And Edward, the quiet, bookish son, seemingly detached from the unfolding drama, buried himself in his books. His detachment was a shield, a way to escape the suffocating atmosphere of the family. Each harbored secrets, desires hidden behind polite smiles and murmured condolences. Their interactions were a dance of deception, each step carefully choreographed to maintain the illusion of harmony. They were a family bound by blood, but divided by envy, greed, and long-held resentments. The ties that should have united them were frayed, each thread pulled taut by years of unspoken grievances. The arrival of Detective Alistair Finch, a man of sharp intellect and piercing gaze, only heightened the tension. His presence was a catalyst, a force that threatened to unravel the carefully woven tapestry of lies and secrets that held the Blackwood family together. A piercing scream, sharp and sudden, sliced through the tense silence of Blackwood Manor. It was a sound that spoke of terror, of unimaginable horror. It echoed through the high-ceilinged halls, bouncing off the portraits of stern-faced ancestors that lined the walls. The drawing room, once alive with forced pleasantries, descended into chaos. Lord Blackwood, his face ashen, was the first to reach the source of the scream, the library. The others followed, their faces etched with a mixture of dread and morbid curiosity. In the flickering gaslight, a gruesome tableau unfolded before their eyes. Sprawled on the Persian rug, surrounded by scattered books and overturned furniture, lay the lifeless body of Reginald Blackwood. Detective Finch surveyed the scene, his eyes missing nothing. He moved with a deliberate calm, his every step measured, his every glance calculated. The room was a puzzle, and he was determined to piece it together. Reginald Blackwood lay still, a single crimson stain blooming on his white shirt front. The sight was both tragic and telling, a silent testament to the violence that had erupted within these walls. A silver letter opener, the supposed weapon, lay discarded nearby, glinting ominously in the dim light. It was a small, elegant object, now tainted with the weight of its deadly purpose. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood and the bitter tang of fear. Every corner of the room seemed to echo with the unspoken horror of the night's events. As the storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil within Blackwood Manor, Detective Finch began his investigation. The howling wind and lashing rain seemed to underscore the urgency of his task. He was a man of few words but keen observation, his mind a steel trap ready to snare the truth. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, missed nothing, cataloguing every detail, every nuance. He questioned the family, his gaze lingering on each drawn face, each evasive answer. The tension in the room was palpable, each family member a potential suspect, each word a potential lie. The servants, their faces pale with fear, were questioned, their movements scrutinized. They were the silent witnesses to the household's secrets, their fear a testament to the power dynamics at play. Every shadow seemed to hold a clue, every whisper a potential confession. Finch knew that the truth was buried somewhere within the layers of fear and deception, and he was determined to unearth it. The staff at Blackwood Manor moved like wraiths through the shadowed hallways, their footsteps barely making a sound on the ancient wooden floors. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional creak of the old mansion settling. Mrs. Hemmings, the housekeeper, her face a mask of grief, whispered of strange noises in the night, of flickering lights and disembodied voices. She spoke of cold drafts that seemed to come from nowhere and the feeling of being watched even when she was alone. Old Thomas, the groundskeeper, swore he'd seen a shadowy figure lurking in the gardens the night of the murder. He described the figure as tall and menacing, moving with a purpose that sent chills down his spine. Whispers of family secrets, of hidden resentments and illicit affairs reached Detective Finch's ears. Each whisper added another layer to the mystery, painting a picture of a family torn apart by greed and betrayal. He learned of Reginald's ruthless ambition, his desire to control the family fortune at any cost, even if it meant stepping over his own kin. Of Cecilia's deep-seated anger towards her brother, a resentment that had festered for years, fueled by jealousy and a sense of injustice. Of Edward's quiet detachment that concealed a sharp mind and a talent for observation. He watched everything, noting every slight and every secret, storing them away for future use. As Finch delved deeper into the lives of the Blackwood family, he discovered a tangled web of deceit, jealousy, and long-held grudges, any one of which could have been the motive for murder. The more he uncovered, the more he realized that everyone had something to hide, and the truth was buried deep within the shadows of Blackwood Manor. Days turned into nights as Detective Finch tirelessly pieced together the fragments of the puzzle. Fingerprints were dusted, alibis scrutinized, and stories corroborated. The weight of evidence seemed to fall upon Cecilia. Her animosity towards Reginald was no secret, and a handwritten note filled with venomous threats surfaced among her belongings. Yet something didn't sit right with Finch. Cecilia, for all her flaws, seemed incapable of cold-blooded murder. His instincts, honed over years of chasing shadows, whispered that something was amiss. He observed the family, their reactions, their carefully constructed facades. The truth, he knew, lurked beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed. Section 7. Unmasking the Serpent. The breakthrough came unexpectedly, a seemingly insignificant detail overlooked by others snagged at Finch's attention. A torn piece of lace found near Reginald's body, a match to the intricate design of Lady Blackwood's favorite shawl. Confronting Lady Blackwood, Finch watched as her carefully crafted composure crumbled. In a tearful confession, Lady Blackwood revealed a truth more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Reginald, driven by greed, had been systematically poisoning Lord Blackwood, hoping to inherit the family fortune. Lady Blackwood, desperate to save her husband, had discovered Reginald's plot and, in a moment of panic and desperation, had struck him down. Section 8. A web of deceit. The revelation sent shockwaves through Blackwood Manor. The family, already reeling from one murder, now grappled with the knowledge that the true killer walked among them, concealed in plain sight. Justice, it seemed, wore a beautiful face and a heart broken by love and betrayal. Yet as Finch listened to Lady Blackwood's confession, a nagging doubt lingered in his mind. The details, the sequence of events, something didn't ring true. He had seen genuine remorse in Lady Blackwood's eyes, but he had also glimpsed a flicker of something else. Fear. Was she protecting someone, taking the fall for a crime she did not commit? Section 9. The truth prevails. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when Finch discovered a hidden compartment in Edward's book-lined study. Inside, he found a collection of poisonous herbs and a handwritten journal detailing Reginald's plot to inherit the family fortune. The quiet, unassuming Edward, the seemingly detached observer, had been acutely aware of the events unfolding around him. Edward, driven by a twisted sense of justice and a desire to protect his mother, had orchestrated the entire scheme. He had used Lady Blackwood's shawl to deflect suspicion, knowing Finch would recognize the significance of the lace. Edward confessed, his voice devoid of emotion, his eyes reflecting a chilling detachment. Section 10. Shadows fade, justice remains. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the darkness that had enveloped Blackwood Manor, Detective Finch watched as Edward was led away. The storm had subsided, the wind no longer carrying whispers of secrets and lies. Justice, though bought at a terrible price, had been served. But the scars of that night, the shadows of betrayal and murder, would forever linger within the walls of Blackwood Manor, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lie hidden beneath even the most seemingly ordinary facades.